Please, please. 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 Please.
Mainlining. How old are you?
Please.
Get an ambulance.
Please.
Quick!
Please. For God's sake. Please.
It's all right, son. It's all right.
I can't concentrate on this.
Shouldn't complain. We haven't had a slack period for weeks.
Oh, have a look at this. Instant refresher course for idle sergeants.
Henry Arthur Francis Sims. Oh, not Henry. Is he out again?
Not only is he out, but Consorting Squad Melbourne says he is on his way.
To the fraud squad now?
Oh, Mick gave it to me. Said, seeing he's an old mate of yours, I thought you might be interested.
Well, I'd rather like that, actually. Not much on here. Hey, you wouldn't mind if I had a bit of a hunt for Lord Henry, would you?
Suit yourself.
I wonder what he's got in store for us. Last time I picked him up, he was running a clinic for old ladies on the North Shore. I'd never have caught him if he'd have resisted the impulse to lift a checkbook.
Well, the time before, he sold those ruins to a private museum. Said they were actual proof the ancient Egyptians came from Australia.
That was when he was visiting professor of archaeology from Harvard. Ah, dear. Nobody seems to have his style anymore. Do you know, he almost had me believing he was a ruddy doctor.
Or a priest.
Or an antique dealer from Sotheby's. Somehow, he always manages to capture the imagination of the mob.
Wish fulfillment. They think they're conning him. He had a mate, you know, what was his name? Dutch Peterson. Hello, Ray. How's it going?
Hey, Ray, what's the matter? You look as though you've seen a ghost.
I have. I bloody well have.
Have a look at that one, my dear.
Oh. Not all there might be, Mr. Kent. The damn submarines kept getting in the way.
Oh, they're good enough.
Blown up from some I took about a year ago, the last time my son sailed in her, just after the refit.
Oh, she's a beautiful boat, Mr. Robinson.
Not to me, Mrs. Kent, not anymore.
You're not exactly selling it, are you?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Robinson. That was very thoughtless of my husband.
Not at all, dear lady. I've no intention of imposing my grief upon you.
All the same.
I hope you and Mr. Kent have many happy hours on the Helen.
Oh, I reckon we shall. Now that the kids are off our hands and the business is virtually handed over, I thought it was time we had a holiday. Went around the islands, saw a bit of the world.
Fine, wonderful.
Well, I worked hard enough for it all my life.
I remember we had something similar in mind, but, well, after the air crash,
Oh, you suffered a terrible tragedy, Mr. Robinson, to lose both your son and your wife.
one learns to bear it.
Yes.
But of course you can understand why I didn't want to show you over the yacht.
Oh, of course.
I mean, just the thought of boarding her again was out of the question. Too painful, I'm afraid.
Right. That's all right, Robinson. I'm quite satisfied with the inspection reports. These and the photographs are quite enough to convince me the Helen is what I want.
Fine.
Especially at the price.
My solicitor's drawn up a bill of sale.
Oh, good.
I hope you'll find it in order.
Fine, I'm sure we shall.
There we are.
Now, where do we sign?
He's marked the places here and here. I wondered if you'd mind witnessing our signatures, Mrs. Kent.
Oh, most certainly.
There we are, then. Fine.
Good. Right. Over to you, dear lady.
Sure.
My dear. I'll put that over there, eh?
There you are.
Splendid. Well, cheers.
And here's the banker's draft for $40,000 as you asked.
Ah, good. I say, I hope you don't think I don't trust you.
Certainly not. Good business.
Oh, so pleased you understand.
No trouble at all.
Yes.
Well.
Oh, thank you both. Oh, I've arranged with the agent to take the rest of our things off today, and it'll be yours sometime this afternoon. About 4, I'd say.
Fine.
Well, I hope you enjoy her. My loss is your gain.
Well, thank you, Robinson.
Goodbye, Mr. Kent. Goodbye, Mrs. Kent.
Goodbye, Mr. Robinson.
By the way, if you hit any little snags, don't hesitate to let me know.
Thank you.
I don't think you will, but you have my address anyway.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, poor man.
Nug, you mean? That yacht's worth at least 60,000.
So I went to the hospital with the boy and caught a lift back here.
Dip out and get us all a cup of coffee, Ray.
Oh, man.
Poor kid. Must have been rough.
That poor kid's a copper. He'll be seeing a lot worse than that before he draws his pension.
Yes, I know. Hey, what say I take him out looking for Lord Henry? Okay with you?
Sure, it'll be good for him.
Look, Sergeant, there's not much happening around here. Do you suppose I could nick over and give Jack Margolis a hand? I'd kind of like to see this one through. If you'd only seen that kid, I mean, 14 years old. That's all he was, John.
All right. Go on. Don't forget if we need you off, you come back to us, okay? And watch yourself.
I will. And, thanks.
Looks as though we might be losing our fledgling to the drug squad.
Never. It's taken too long to get an extra body around here. Besides, it's not our pigeon. When he comes back, tell him to file his report and send it over to the drug squad.
Right.
Well, I'm off upstairs to do battle with the finance section.
It's war, then.
Every bloody day. Thank you. Here, this should help. Telex from Canberra. On Sims.
I've got Mrs. Cardew outside, Sergeant.
Mm-hmm. Who?
The mother of the boy we found. I brought her here from the hospital.
Well, why here?
I thought it would be quieter. You know.
Gamble, it's not our case, it's the drug squad's. All right, you might as well bring her in now that you've got her here.
Detective Sergeant Sutton, Mrs. Cardew.
Mrs. Cardew. Please sit down. I'm sorry to trouble you at this time, but we'll have a car to take you back to the hospital. Now, if you could just answer a few simple questions, it might be able to help us.
Well, he doesn't like Brian.
It seems he's been taking drugs for some time.
At least 6 months.
No, you're wrong. His father caught him smoking once out in the garden, but he promised he'd never do it again. All boys try a cigarette.
It's not quite the same, Mrs. Cardew.
But you don't understand.
Mrs. Cardew, the doctors say that Brian has taken a large dose of heroin. His collapse is due to it.
All right, Ray. These drugs, they cost a great deal of money. About how much would Brian have had?
Well, he gets pocket money. Sometimes he helps his father serve in the shop, and then he gets a bit extra. That's not very often lately.
Oh, Detective Sergeant Randall. Mrs. Cardew.
Mrs. Cardew?
Please go.
Well, you know what they're like. He was out at the first chance. I didn't know he wasn't home last night. We went...
Did Brian have any money saved up?
No, not him. I couldn't even get him to bank his birthday money. Goodness knows what it goes on.
Birthday?
Yes, last week it was. Tuesday.
And he got some money?
Yes, his uncle sent him some from England. And the lady 2 doors down, she's his godmother. She was going to get him something. The shop didn't get it in. So she gave him the money instead.
About how much would there be altogether?
About $60, I think.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Cardew. We'll get a car to take you back.
He's going to be all right, isn't he? He's just a boy.
I'm sure the doctors are doing everything they can.
Why, Brian? Why?
Why'd you bring here, Gamble?
I'm sorry, Sergeant.
If you'd gone by the book, you'd have filled in your report and sent the lot over to the drug squad.
I know.
You should know enough about procedure by this. However, since I've let you start it, you better finish it. Now, the drug squad aren't going to thank us for a half-completed job. Check his friends. Find out the source of the boy's supply.
Right.
Sorry. He seems to have his tail between his legs.
That does him good now and then. He's going to follow up the drug thing.
Oh, well, that'll please the drug squad. They're so undermanned, it's not funny.
By the way, Harry, it's you, not we, on the Sims thing. I've got to spend the next few days in court, virtually full-time.
Oh, that'll be nice for you. Catch up on a bit of sleep.
On those benches? So where are you going to find Sims?
How the hell should I know? Well, how are the school kids?
Nothing. Me, sir? Drugs, sir. What are they, sir?
You shouldn't expect anything else, really.
And all the time they're laughing their little heads off at you.
Well, you should have had a chance, if anyone, being younger.
Me? I'm old Father Time. I'm past it. The kid had been selling stuff he pinched from his old man's shop, though. Those bastards.
No, he's off, Ray.
Oh, he's off nothing, Sergeant. To these kids, anything over 16 is dead, a giggle. The only adult that counts in their world is the friendly old neighbourhood pusher.
You're making Sydney sound like New York.
It is. Found out that much. Not as big yet, but who's competing? Makes me bloody sick. The kids aren't going to help us, and most of the parents and teachers won't even admit it's happening.
What about the boy in the hospital?
Getting worse. You know, I told the others about him. I said, there's a boy about your age, dying from the effects of heroin. Do you know what they said? Tough.
What the hell are you talking about?
I just told you, mate.
But this is intolerable. Mr. Robinson assured me that you'll be expecting us. But I've got a note of it in my diary.
I don't know anything about that, mate. I don't know who Mr. Robinson is. Miss Henry's given me no orders to let you on board.
Henry?
You're the owner, lady.
Owner? I've just bought the ruddy thing.
Oh, no, you haven't, mate. Not that I've heard of. Someone's probably having a joke.
Joke? I've just paid $40,000 for it.
And you've been done, mate.
Done?
You're taken for a ride. Hey, if I was you, I'd call the police.
Taken? Me? Come on, Norma.
Right, thank you. It's done it.
Who?
Henry Arthur Francis Sims.
Well, what's he done?
Flogged somebody's yacht for them.
That's good of him.
They've got the marks down at the local. The station sergeant showed them our circular and a photograph of Sims, penciled in a moustache and got a positive identification. Poor Mr. Robinson, sad old widower who lost his wife and son in an air crash. Sims cover.
Make your heart bleed.
Yes.
They're sending them over?
Yeah, do you want me to keep Gamble on this drug thing?
Is he getting anywhere?
Oh, not quickly enough for him. This one's really getting through.
Well, can you manage? I'd like to leave him on it for a bit and then clear it. It's not my favorite crime.
Switchboard. Get me CIB headquarters, please. I want to speak to a Detective Gamble.
I'm afraid he's not here at the moment. Can I take a message? Hang on, he's just come in. For you.
Yeah, Detective Gamble. I see. Yes. Yes. Yes, thank you, Doctor. Yeah. Yeah, I'll come over.
The boy?
Yeah. The doctor says they can't do any more. It's just a question of time. Look, I'd like to get over there if it's okay with you.
Yes, of course. Ray, hang on a minute. You are Harry Sims, is all yours.
Oh, thanks.
I'll come with you.
Ah, I called earlier about the room.
Dr. Steinhardt.
Quite so.
Welcome to the guest house, Doctor.
He died 10 minutes ago.
The parents?
They were here. The mother's collapsed. We kept her. She's under sedation.
What goes on the certificate, Doctor?
Take a choice. Shock, massive cardiovascular failure.
It was his birthday last Tuesday. He was 14.
And I hope I make it quite plain, Sergeant, that I require action and I require it quickly.
Quite plain, Mr. Kent.
You know, I don't understand it. Mr. Robinson seems such a nice man.
Sims, Norma.
Oh, yes. Somehow I can only think of him as poor Mr. Robinson.
Well, your nice man, my dear, has just robbed us of several $1,000s.
Mrs. Kent, this man specializes in making people think he's nice.
Exactly. And what are you going to do about it?
Our investigations are proceeding, sir.
Don't give me that. Have you manned the airports, the stations, that sort of thing?
Where we think necessary, sir, which in this case isn't very much. Sims never tries to leave a city immediately after a crime.
And how would you know?
Experience, sir, it counts in our job.
Well, I have a great deal of influence, Sergeant, me and my family. And I warn you that I shall be conducting my own investigation.
I wouldn't advise that, sir.
This picture, I've arranged for it to be in every single paper in the morning.
Well, that won't be necessary either, sir. We shall contact the newspapers when we require their assistance.
When we require their assistance, indeed. What you need, young man, is initiative. Where do you think I should be without that?
May I ask you how you've arranged this, sir?
Never you mind, Sergeant. But I tell you this, if you people don't come up with something today, we shall find Sims ourselves and deal with him.
Mr. Kent, I must formally warn you against any such course of action.
Don't try and intimidate me, Sergeant. I have a number of friends in the higher ranks of the police force.
Indeed, sir.
Yes, Sergeant, indeed. Come on, Norma.
Now, Sergeant. Oh!
He's a real little love child.
Nasty bastard. Could be dangerous.
I doubt it. He's got Buckley's chance of finding Sims. We're going to find it tough enough ourselves.
Oh, I haven't had a breakfast like that in years.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I just hope you didn't mind having it in here with us.
No, not at all.
We don't get many guests at this time of the year, you know, and it'd be silly to put you in the great big dining room all on your own.
Dear lady, the food was delicious and the company was charming.
It was the least I could do after you'd had a look at Jenny for me during the night.
Just a touch of bronchitis. How are you this morning, my little dear?
I was so lucky to have a doctor on the spot. It was very kind of you, but I'm afraid we're ruining your holiday.
Oh, no, you're not. Now, I've written out a prescription in case she has any more trouble with her breathing. It's a decongestant. I'll pop it along to the chemist in the morning.
Oh, no, I'll take it around.
Oh, no, dear lady, no. The walk will do me good.
Oh, that's very kind of you, Doctor. So kind.
Aha! Well, that should flush him out. No question about it. These ads cost a fortune. Now, if that doesn't find him, nothing will.
I do hope so, dear.
If he contacts this phone number, he will learn something to his advantage. Don't worry, dear. He will.
Oh, Doctor, thank God you're here. She started like this about 10 minutes ago, and I don't know what to do.
Oh, I'll call your doctor.
No, I've done that. I've tried, and I can't get through. Please help her.
Call an ambulance.
Yes.
First, have you a clean razor blade and a straw?
Oh, I think so, yeah.
Well, get them, woman, and then call.
Oh, Doctor, thank God you're here.
Dr. Stone. Oh, my God.
Think we've got something on Sims. A chemist filled a prescription for him, but when he checked the book, there was no Dr. Stonehouse listed. So he called in. Man fits Sims' description.
Have you seen these?
Yeah. Marvellous what a bit of money will do, isn't it? Not even a hint of libel.
Oh, yeah. Dead clever. What about the chemist?
It seems Sims was posing as a doctor, and he had a prescription made up.
What for?
Some sort of decongestant. Probably an asthma or bronchitis case. At least that's what the chemist said anyway.
Was there a name on it?
Yes, Rogers. And it's for real. We've got a neighbourhood address.
When we get breaks like this, I can't help feeling there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, will you get down to see them? I've got to get to the bank that paid out the money.
Right.
Hello, Henry.
Tony.
Seen the papers?
Don't.
You've got a bit of trouble, I think.
You think right, mate.
Anywhere to go? I've got a place in Greenwich. Hillary Road, number 23. Here's the key.
Hey, that's real kind, sport. Well, how did I know a mark could pull a stunt like that? Thanks, Tony. You're a mate. If there's anything I can ever do for you, name it.
That's all right, Henry. Always help a friend. Come on. You tell Uncle Danny all about it in a way.
Okay, mate.
A truly wonderful man, Mr. Gamble. Poor Jenny was just choking to death. He put a tube down her throat and she was all right.
Well, we're all glad about that.
But you say he wasn't a doctor.
No, Mrs. Rogers, he wasn't.
Oh, well, I don't know about that, but he saved my daughter's life and the ambulance man said so too. Without him, she would have choked to death. A
Tracheotomy.
That's it.
And what happened after he'd done that?
Well, it was quite strange, really. He told me to phone the ambulance. He told me what to say. He said he was going upstairs to wash his hands. Then he just went.
Not hard to understand.
He left the money for the room on the hall stand. Not that I'd have taken a penny after what he'd done, but there it was, right down to the last cent.
I see.
What's he done, Mr. Gamble?
Well, I can't tell you that, Mrs. Rogers.
Well, I know it couldn't be bad, and I'll tell you this, I hope you don't catch him. A wonderful man. Truly remarkable.
Yes, in many ways.
I won't do it, Tony. Not drugs. Not for children.
You said anything, Henry.
But not this.
Let's put it this way. If you don't agree to do this sort of thing for me, the fuss might just get to know where they can find you. And I've got this.
Like that, is it?
They're right. You'll be for better than 10 this time, Henry. You'll be a pretty old man by the time you get out.
You're a right bastard, Mano.
Don't call Tony names. 10 tomorrow morning, then. There's not that much to it after all. Just collect the parcel and redeliver it.
So you can fix a few more school children?
You should be in it, Henry. There's a lot of bread there. They'll buy any old stuff you sold them. They wouldn't know the difference. 10 tomorrow morning, then?
I have no choice.
None.
That's what you think, mate.
Thank you very much, my dear. Yes, you've been most helpful. Yes. Now, you look carefully in your pay packet on Friday. Good. Thank you. Goodbye. Bye. Norma? Norma? The girl from the office. A man has just phoned in with Sim's address. We've got him.
Well, shouldn't you call the police?
Not yet. Not until we get our money back.
Well, I don't Oh, dear.
Look, Norma, I know best. This way we both get what we want.
Randall. Who? Oh, is this a joke?
No, I assure you it is not. And please don't try and trace this call. I shan't be on long enough. Now listen carefully. I've just done a drug drop for Tony Mano. Dutch Peterson was with him.
Yes?
I had no choice. He was going to turn me into you. The stuff belongs to a mob farming out drugs to school children. Nasty business.
Yes, we know. But do you know where we can find Mano?
No, I'm sorry. I have his car number.
Good. Well, what's the registration? Right, thank you, Henry.
No need to, Sergeant. I happen to like children.
Yes, I know. Oh, by the way, young Jenny Rogers is getting along fine now.
Good, I wondered.
You nearly had you, Henry.
Nearly is not good enough, Mr. Randall.
Don't get too confident. We'll do better.
You can try, but do get Mano first.
Agreed. Well, what about that?
Any more luck and I'll start believing in honest politicians.
If Mano's the office boy, Dutch Peterson must be behind it.
Yeah, I think so.
Harry, get on to...
I'm already there.
Good, and put out a general call for Mano himself. I want him before he reaches Sims.
Right.
And where's Gamble? This is supposed to be his case.
In coroner's court, giving evidence.
Oh, yes. The Cardew boy. Oh, I understand that you're not responsible. Oh, you could have a sharp word with one of your advertising salesmen. Yes, of course. Thank you. One of the newspapers had a call. Kent was clever. Bloke phoned the newspaper with an address, Greenwich.
Well, that's lucky. Were you going there?
We'll try it. My bet is Kent's already onto it.
Right.
I'm sure all this violence isn't necessary. I don't intend to resist, and it can't be doing any of us any good.
Now just sit down, you dirty rat.
If that's an imitation of James Cagney, it stinks.
Now look here. I want to know where our money is, and I want to know quickly.
Aren't you going to call the police?
Not until we get our money back.
Quite right, dear.
I see. Well, actually, you left it behind in the house. In a suitcase. If you care to collect it, I'd be happy to stay here till you're satisfied.
Oh, no. You'd find a way out as soon as we'd gone.
You have no trust, Mr. Kent.
And with good reason, Mr. Sims. I suppose you think this is very funny, don't you? Well, I don't share your sense of humor. Norma, you go to the house and get the money, and we'll wait here.
Yes.
It's in a brown suitcase in my bedroom.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, by the way.
Yes?
I feel I ought to warn you. The house is owned by one of Sydney's most vicious criminals.
What?
Specializes with razors.
Oh, darling.
Now, don't you worry, my dear. I wouldn't have let you go alone anyway. He's probably bluffing, but just to be on the safe side, I'll go with the boys.
Well, what about him?
You keep an eye on him. Now, don't you imagine that you have a poor, defenseless woman in your power. My wife has several awards for sharpshooting.
What?
I trained her myself.
What an esoteric vacation.
Don't be funny. Just keep your opinions to yourself. I'll deal with you when I get back.
Oh.
One move, Norma, and kill him. Come on, you two.
Yes, dear.
Come on, quickly.
Communications, please. Yes, Sergeant Sutton with a message for Sergeant Randall. Yes, in the car. Message reads, we've picked up Dutch Peterson but have no, repeat, no trace of Mano.
Is this really a Picasso?
Oh, it's only a print, I'm afraid.
But charming nonetheless. I met him once, you know, many years ago.
Really?
In the south of France it was, quite by chance. Dirty little cafe. Of course, I recognized him immediately, but somehow nervous about approaching him.
I could never have done that.
Oh, you could. Do you know he was one of the kindest, most charming people I've ever met?
I'd still have been nervous.
Nonsense, nonsense. Well, he sat me down, gave me a drink, and then we had dinner together. I stayed with him 3 days, eventually.
How exciting.
Oh, it was. And you know, it's strange the things you learn about men like that. Do you know, Picasso had the wildest sense of humor you can possibly imagine.
Really? Oh, I wouldn't have thought that.
Oh, it's true. One thing he told me I'll never forget.
Oh, go on.
Well, it's mainly a visual joke.
Oh,
you know.
please show me.
All right. Now, if you can imagine I'm a bull entering a bull ring. Now, is that the bathroom door?
Yes? Oh, why?
Oh, the entrance is very important. Now, if you can imagine a bull with only one... No, I've spoiled it. Mind you, Picasso. No. Oh, silly me. I forgot my jacket. You see, I have to act out the part of the matador as well. Ole!
Mr. Sims? Mr. Sims? Oh, dear. Mr. Sims! Oh, he's gone. John, Sims is gone. He's gone.
Where?
Down there.
Extreme caution. I repeat, extreme caution.
Okay, that's all, man. Let's go.
gentlemen.
Is this it, Doctor?
Yes. Rogers, how kind of you to keep it. My emergency supplies, you know.
I found it in your room after you left, and I knew you wouldn't want the police going through it.
How thoughtful of you. And how right, of course. They wouldn't know how to handle such delicate medical instruments with care.
Just what I thought.
And how is your little daughter this morning?
Oh, fine, just fine. Able to sit up and take a little nourishment, as they say.
Splendid, splendid. Well, I must be going now. I needed these supplies to carry me through.
Oh, I understand.
Oh, before I go, could I not offer you?
No, I wouldn't hear of it, not after what you've done.
Oh, but you looked after.
No, my pleasure. The least I could do.
You're a very understanding woman, Mrs. Rogers.
Such a nice man.
And I'm $3,000 short. What are you going to do about that?
There's very little we can do about it, Mr. Kent.
But you let the crook slip through your fingers.
May I point out, Mr. Kent, that both the loss of money and the disappearance of Sims was largely due to your interference?
Due to my interference?
It still hasn't been decided whether we'll proceed with a charge against you because of it, Mr. Kent.
Charge against me?
Good morning, Mr. Kent.
And don't leave the city without notifying us, please,
Now,
Mr. Kent.
just look.
Thank you
Just
very
1 minute.
much. Good morning. You enjoyed that, didn't you?
Yes. I'd still like to know where he got the picture of Henry.
He didn't look too happy.
I'm not surprised. He's just lost $3,000 and he's not going to get it back.
Well, old Henry will have that stashed away by the time we find him. How'd you get on with Mano?
Oh, he's not ready yet, but he'll be talking.
We can't hold Dutch Peterson much longer, you know.
Well, we'll get him as soon as Mano talks. And he will. All thanks to Henry Sims.
Here, we haven't even caught him yet.
Well, you're right, Harry. Oh, we do seem to have failed at that.
We had a report on him travelling down the Hume Highway.
That's right, so we did. And I put in a report to the local boys.
You wouldn't mind if he made it, would you?
What do you mean? We've done everything we can, Ray.
Come on, I'll buy you a drink. I'll get him on the way down to Melbourne.
Oh, yeah, sure to. He always goes down there. We'd never have got Peterson without Henry.
Well, when I get in the morning, I'll draft an all-states alarm for Sims. Remind me, Harry.
Yeah. Why Melbourne, I wonder?
It's most kind of you fellas, you know. My car is usually so reliable. She's let me down rather badly this time.
That's all right, Father.
It's so fortunate you came along when you did. I had a party of old-age pensioners to see this morning, and I wouldn't like to have disappointed them.
Don't worry, sir. We'll get you there on time.
The most kind. Tell me, officer, how far are we from Brisbane?
Holden Monaro by courtesy of General Motors Holden.